I am going to share with you guys today the 4 reasons why girls never ignore Sigma males, and if you are someone who identifies with the Sigma male archetype, you will be able to learn the behaviors that, quite frankly, will make it so that girls will never ever ignore you again. If you are somebody who resonates with the Sigma male archetype, you will also be able to learn these behaviors. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go right into it. First and foremost, let's not kid ourselves. This situation is not ideal. The idea of getting attention or being the center of attention is the furthest thing from a Sigma man's mind. But despite this, the Sigma always seems to be in the center of attention because to the powerful and commanding aura he exudes. It's not as much about who you actually are for females as it is about who you present yourself to be, which is one of the most significant things that I could ever teach you guys about girls and one of the most important things that I could ever teach you guys about girls. The thing about girls is that they don't really care that you're a really cool man if you don't project an outward appearance of the things that they are attracted to. If you don't project an outward appearance of the things that they are attracted to, they won't care. You have to understand that every single one of the archetypal players that you encountered in high school was really just a skilled con artist who had figured out how to fake the outward appearance of the characteristics that girls look for, such as things like supreme confidence and social proof. And you could be the best guy or the best fit for some girl that you secretly like, but you will always get passed over for the guy who is better able to sell himself to her, even if that guy is incredibly fake. And this could happen even if you are the best guy or the best fit for some girl that you secretly like. Now, I am fully aware that this is not a fair situation. Nonetheless, this is the reality of the situation. If you want to be the guy who females never overlook or the person who girls never pass by, you need to have a dominating presence. This is the takeaway from this whole situation. To put it another way, you need to cultivate an attitude about you that attracts the admiration and consideration of women, as this is precisely what a typical Sigma male does. It is all dependent on the manner in which you hold yourself. You have to understand that women are naturally predisposed to be very inferential, and they will form snap conclusions about the type of man you are based only on how you hold yourself or the kind of presence you project when you are in the same room as them. Now, rather of being attracted to the Sigma simply because of his appearance or the way he carries himself, women are pulled to him because of his presence or the way he handles himself. Studies have proven that even if you say something that is absolutely false, people will still believe you as long as you say it with enough confidence to convince them that you are telling the truth. This has been demonstrated over and over again. Even though Sigma males are normally very quiet guys, their presence is so intensely enigmatic, powerful, and dominating that girls just can't help but be drawn to it. This is despite the fact that they are rarely ignored by other people. You all need to realize that believing you are already a man is a prerequisite to actually maturing into one. In other words, you need to convince yourself that you are already a man. Before you can become wealthy, you need to train your mind to think and behave as if you already are wealthy. After speaking with a large number of prosperous people who have had a great deal of good fortune in their lives, Tony Robbins came to this observation as one of his findings. It makes no difference either in terms of your personality or developing into the kind of man you most aspire to be. The same idea is still valid. In order to become the man, you must first convince yourself that you already are the man. And don't be foolish. I'm only speaking in terms of growing up into an adult. Number 2, today, far too frequently, we have the mentality that we need to be the man in the room who is the most annoying or the loudest. It's kind of like those men who drive around in Lamborghinis and who rent enormous residences for themselves. They flaunt their wealth. These individuals are the most economically disadvantaged. I'm sure you guys are well aware of this, but the vehicle of choice for the vast majority of genuine millionaires is an older Toyota. If you take a closer look at the majority of things that are actually powerful in life, you will notice that the majority of the time, these things say nothing. Despite this, they receive every ounce of respect and every bit of attention from the other people. The ability to remain silent is comparable to the biggest superpower possessed by a Sigma guy, and despite the fact that it does not make any noise, it is extremely successful in attracting the interest of appealing girls. However, remaining silent is power, and it always will be. When you look at a Ferrari or other supercar, you can hardly hear it most of the time, and the only time you finally do hear it is right before it speeds by you and leaves you entirely in the dust. If you want to be left in the dust, look at a Ferrari. The fact that Sigma guys use their silence as a form of dominance is one of the primary reasons why girls never ignore them. And if you already know that you're the man, you don't really need to say anything at all, or at the very least, you don't really need to say very much. Because they know how to turn their quiet into strength, Sigma guys are able to dominate the attention of females despite the fact that they speak nearly seldom. And to the extent that you are capable of doing the same, it will become increasingly difficult for women to ignore you. You know, when silence is projected with the utmost confidence, it has the effect of making girls tremendously thrilled, while also having other males feel intimidated. As a result, this is how Sigma males have the innate ability to make use of the silence around them to their advantage. You have to understand that back in those days, when children acted inappropriately, their fathers were not required to correct them in any way. They only needed to see that look for him to convey the message that they were in serious jeopardy. If you practice the art of quiet and become skilled at it, I guarantee that girls will never ignore you again, unless you play StarCraft, in which case they will continue to do so. Third, there is a well-known proverb that says, any person capable of making you angry will eventually become your master. The capacity to keep one's feelings in check is something that is undervalued by most guys, but Sigma men are almost experts in this area. Most guys don't put nearly enough emphasis on this ability. Many people consider the Sigma to be stoic, but in reality, he is only very skilled at maintaining his composure under pressure. Emotion, on the other hand, refers to anything that a person feels that cannot be explained by logic or rational thought. Therefore, if the sight of a beautiful woman causes you to feel anxious, you do not have command of your feelings. You are not in command of your feelings if, for example, you are easily provoked by the actions or words of other people. There are a lot of males living in this world who have no command over their feelings, and if you don't have command over your feelings, you simply don't have command over your life in general. Emotions are responsible for around 99.190% of the dumb things that we do in our lives. What you guys need to understand is that a man who actually has control over his emotions is pretty rare in today's society, more so than at any other time in history. It will be very difficult for a girl to ignore you if she discovers that you do not get quickly emotional and that you do not get easily provoked. This is because you are not going to be like every other guy out there, who does get easily triggered and who does get emotional very easily. Because of this, it is extremely uncommon to find a man who is in complete command of his feelings. However, the majority of the challenges you will face in life, excluding relationships with women, and the outcomes of those challenges, including whether or not you will be successful, will depend almost entirely on your emotional state and your ability to maintain command of it. In a world where men are completely enslaved by their emotions on a daily basis, Sigma males are able to command attention from girls simply because they are able to do what the vast majority of other men simply are unable to do. Sigma males naturally have a great deal of control over their emotions. Number 4. Now, a very long time ago, a very normal worry for the average guy was the prospect of having to engage in deadly combat with other men, or the prospect of having to protect himself against an invading army of Vikings or Spartans or something like that. It's sad, humorous, and true all at the same time, but the greatest fear for a modern male is something like getting rejected by a girl, and it's something like that. The Sigma male, on the other hand, is unique in that he does not fear anyone or anything other than God. At the end of the day, ladies have always been and will always be attracted to strength, and the simplest way for a man to display strength is to show the girl that he fears absolutely nothing, including no other man, no other woman, no other beast, and nothing else. You have to realize that today's guys have become so weak and sensitive that it is quite difficult to believe the kinds of things that cause them to feel afraid. In light of the foregoing, if you want to demonstrate your strength and let loose the Sigma that lies dormant within you, the quickest way to do so is to simply confront your anxieties the instant they manifest themselves. This is in contrast to going out in pursuit of mortal combat with other men. One of the most significant distinctions between single men and modern men is that Sigmas have the ability to eliminate any fear that arises the moment it makes its presence known. This is because Sigmas are aware of the fact that if they give fear even a brief window of opportunity to fester, it will only become more powerful and it will only increase in size over time. Because Sigma males are practically the human embodiment of power or a man who fears nothing, pretty about all of the ladies out there never, ever ignore them. And even if Sigmas do feel fear, they do not broadcast their insecurities to the public, since doing so would make them no different from any other man in the world.